Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the part of the development economics. It's a paper under for the BA honors and general students for same 3. So today my topic is uh, Today my topic is the poverty. We are going to discuss about the poverty, absolute and relative poverty, and at the same time we are going to discuss about the development measurement and the concept of development gap and how the per capita income is helping us to find out the development gap. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the next topic. I'm going for the next slide. So this is the poverty. You can see poverty, generally we are thinking that okay, poverty means lack of money, but no, poverty can be measured from different angles with the help of different indicators. The indicator may be education, so you may have education poverty, you may have health poverty, you may have wealth poverty. Basically we are talking about the wealth poverty. Basically we are discussing that okay, poverty means the lack of income, so this is under the category of the wealth poverty. Okay, so this is how you can measure the poverty. Now what is the definition of poverty? Now poverty basically it's a state of the human being when they don't have the money, when they don't have sufficient money to maintain their minimum standard of living. Now how can you measure the standard of living? Standard of living means it is the income level, it is the food, it is the clothing, it is the shelter. Basically for the survival, individual needs all these three. So if the individual doesn't have the money to have these three things, then you can consider that person as a poor person. Okay, so his condition is in the poverty. We can say that he is facing the poverty or the wealth poverty. So you can say, look at the second bullet, you can say the lack of minimum money so that people cannot sustain their life. Okay. Now the picture can show you what is poverty. Okay. And this picture is very much common. If you discuss anything related with the poverty, these type of pictures are coming in our mind. Now the types of poverty. Now, poverty is of two types. We can measure poverty in terms of absolute poverty or the relative poverty. Okay. Now, when we are talking about the absolute poverty means we are just considering the income, whether the income of the individual is sufficient or not. If it is sufficient to maintain its minimum standard of living, then he is not poor, and if he doesn't have that money, then he is poor. So this is the concept of absolute poverty. And basically, absolute poverty is very much prominent in any of the less developed country, you can understand. Now the next topic, what is relative poverty? Now relative poverty is something different than the absolute poverty. Relative poverty means it is the relatively a person is poor. The person may not be absolutely poor. The person is non-poor, but relatively he is poor. Okay, we compared to the rest of the people in the society, he is poor. So this is called the relative poverty. So if this is the definition of the relative poverty, you can find relatively poor people even in the developed countries as well. So what is the basic definition of the relative poverty? If the people, if the person doesn't if the person has the income less than 50% or the median value of the income of the society, then he is considered as a relatively poor person. So if you arrange the income level of the society as a whole, then if the income of a particular individual is 50% less than the median value, then that income then the person is called relatively poor, and this person is quite available in any of the developed countries. It is available in the developed and the less developed countries. So basically we are measuring poverty with respect to these two indicators. You can see in the diagram, in the picture, you can understand who is relatively poor. In the first diagram, it is a picture of a poor person in the less developed country. And the second diagram, look at the figure, look at the health status of the individual. He's not at all absolutely poor. He has sufficient money to survive, but relatively he is poor because he is staying in the uh, developed country where the per capita income is relatively high. Okay, so this is how you can measure relative poverty. Hmm. Now there is another concept to measure the poverty called the capability failure. Basically, this concept is given by Professor Amartya Sen. He is saying that you cannot measure poverty in terms of absolute or relative. It is nothing but the failure, the capability failure. Now, every individual in this world, he must have some food, he must have some education, he must have some medicine. So he must have the capacity or capability to be nourished. He must have the capability to read and write. He must have some capability to live long. That means to be healthy, right? Now, if any individual in the world doesn't have the capability of either of these three, then it is called the capability failure of that individual and he is considered as a poor. So this is the poverty definition according to the Ekeshen. Now the human poverty, I'm coming to the next one, that is the human poverty. Now the human poverty, you can measure human poverty from different angles. Now it is the choice and the opportunity for living a tolerable life, the deprivation related to the survival. This is how you can measure the human poverty. The deprivation related to the knowledge. That means if a person is not getting the sufficient knowledge which he should have, so he is considered as a poor. If the individual is not getting the decent standard of living, then obviously he can consider as a poor individual. Okay, so human poverty can be measured from such different angles. Now the development in terms of the per capita income problem, it is already said that one of the indicators of the development is the increase in per capita income. Other than per capita income, there are so many other indicators of the development, like the increase in the health status, increase in the education level, development of the sanitation, etc. So many indicators are there to measure the development. But with all those indicators, per capita income is one of the important indicators for the measurement of development. Now, if you consider increase in per capita income as an indicator of the development, then what are the problems behind that? Why we cannot take increase in per capita income as the single indicator of development? In this slide, we are going to discuss all those. The first of all, this is the traditional method. Basically, per capita increase in per capita income is considered as an indicator of the growth, not the development. And we know the growth is a subsection of the development. The development is a broader concept and growth is a narrower concept. It's a part of the development. Okay, growth is a part of development. So that is why if you consider increase in per capita income as an indicator of development and it is the only indicator, that means you are leaving so many other indicators. You are ignoring so many other indicators which can measure development better. Okay. The second problem is the calculation of national income. If you consider per capita income, then you have to find out what is the exact national income of the country, and it is very difficult to find out the exact value of the national income because there are so many loopholes in the system. For example, for the agricultural sector, you may not get the proper picture of the income level. So this is how national income calculation is creating problem to consider per capita income as a sole indicator of the development. The statistical problem, still the statistical error is there when you are going to calculate the national income and all. So this is the third problem. The fourth problem is the problem of the luxury good. If you consider the luxury good consumption, na, so people may consume luxury good, but his per capita income may not be so high. So if you consider consumption of luxury good consumption only, then that may not give you the true per capita income picture. Development level is also confusing. It may be like that per capita income is very low, but for the economy, all other indicators, all other development indicators are so good that you can consider the economy is developing at a faster rate. But as you are ignoring all those indicators and you are only considering per capita income, so it will be a false picture actually. Huh? So it will make the people confused that what is the actual scenario of the development of the economy. And obviously infrastructural problem is there for the less developed countries, so per capita income should not be the sole indicator or the prime indicator for the measurement of economic development. Now the next thing is the development gap. Now, what is development gap? The gap between the developed and underdeveloped part of the world is called the development gap. Now, how to measure the development gap? You can measure the development gap in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of income or wealth. Okay. Now the income inequality can be measured by the per capita income. Here you can measure the here you can use the per capita income as an indicator for the income inequality measurement. So if you go through the development gap, you can check the development gap is a very good indicator to find out over the time whether the less developed country is developing or not relatively. If the gap between the developed and the underdeveloped part of the world is increasing, then you can say that okay, it may possible that a part of the world is developing, but as a whole, the world as a whole is not developing at all. The inequality in terms of development is rising over time. So this is how development gap is helping us to know, to understand that whether the world as a whole is improving or not, whether the gap between the developed and underdeveloped part is increasing or decreasing or same as before. So this is how development gap is helping. Now, what are the stages of development? The first one is the preparatory stage, the second one is the takeoff stage, and the third one is the stage of self-sustained growth. So in the preparatory stage, each and every development economy, they need a lot of support from the government, from outside, because it is just going to develop. So it is in the fragile state. So many industries are there who are basically infant industries, so they need protection actually. So the economy should have the protection. And the takeoff stage is a very high speed. At that time, maybe the balance of payment deficit is a persisting problem and all. But finally, when it will go to the self-sustained growth, then it will become an independent economy. So many the not so dependency is there on the support side. The measurement process of the development gap. You can measure development gap in terms of absolute income gap, in terms of relative income gap, in terms of standard deviation, in terms of coefficient of variation, or in terms of Gini coefficient. Now, within this short span of time, it is not possible for me to explain the concept of coefficient of variation or Gini coefficient. These are actually the inequality measurements and the statistical measurement for inequality. So these are all in the write-up section. So if you go through the write-up part, then you can understand what are those. But basically, we are using this type of measurement to find out the development gap. Thank you.